This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Special in-studio guest. I was like, screw it, we'll bring him in. I remember when I was back at the University of Oklahoma competing on the bass fishing team, and Mark Jeffries brought me in. I knew nothing about what I was talking about, but he brought me in on the Sirius XM days back. I was interested. I had a message. Someone was like, man, have you considered like an XM or a Sirius radio show? And I was like, dude, it was funny. That's how it actually kind of started. They did a radio and then went to Sirius XM before the stream. And I apologize. I am on the verge of, Starlink, I think. I think I've got the old transformer that's going out. So fortunately, we'll be blurry. Jackson Marburger is sitting across me, president of the OU. What are you allowed to call it now? What is it officially called?
So we call it the OU Bass Club. That's what we have to call it from the university. We can't say we're a team because of Title IX and stuff like that, but we're officially the OU Bass Club.
I gotcha. So the OU Bass Club brought a couple hats in, the OU Bass Club team, and then the youngsters hats. The rope hats are where it's at now.
They're hot on the market right now. We got so much demand for them. Those sold out like on the first day we launched them.
Yeah, it is. But I figured we get you in. We're gonna hit the lake later today. I'm kind of in prep mode leading up to where practice starts for the Bass Nation Championship on Grand Lake on the 2nd. So I want to get my string stretched a little bit. So we're gonna go out to one of the many bountiful and plentiful bass-rich lakes in the central Oklahoma area and see if we can't catch a couple. So excited to get in the boat with you and see how it goes down and get the bass cat out. It's been like a couple weeks. I had my buddy who hasn't been back on campus in like 12 years. We went to, I think you were there too. We went to the University of Oklahoma football game this past Saturday.
Talk about a tough game to watch.
It was not ideal. I see Rich in here. He said, important question, better season outlook, OU football or fishing team? So that's what we're just going to chat today a little bit about. We've had Jordan Leon in the past. We've had a bunch of guys who came from storied collegiate programs, and they were talking about Tucker Smith. I just had Tucker Smith on. Did you fish against Tucker Smith?
I don't believe so, at least not to my knowledge, at least.
Yeah, at Auburn, and he was talking about 30, 40 people, how much stuff that they daily life of what it is to be a finance and entrepreneur major. What, you're a junior
right now.
And also the president of the OU team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know whether it's a good thing. Yeah, I know my internet sucks, guys. We're working on it, but the audio is good, so that's for the iTunes listeners as well. I don't know if it's a good thing or if you're totally screwed that you reached out for a little bit of help with the program, because I know.
So. In my opinion, it's only downhill from here. So we're kind of at rock bottom right now, and we're building. But I think this could be huge for us if this goes viral.
Yeah. Just talk a little bit about your background, how you got into it, what got you into college fishing. You're 20 years old, so it's pretty much been around for the duration of your life. When I was in it back in the late 2000s, it was kind of new. We were all trying to figure it out, but you came in with a lot of college fishing, a lot of high school fishing. Talk about how you ended up at OU, how you ended up on the bass fishing team, then how you ended up the president of the bass fishing team.
Yeah, so just a quick background on me. So I did fish in high school. I'm from Dallas, Texas originally. I fished at Lake Highlands High School, part of THSBA, which is now one of the biggest high school tournament organizations in the United States. It's absurd how crazy it is. We're averaging 200 boats per tournament. And I actually founded my fishing team at my high school. I was part of that. And a few other buddies, we founded it together. So then I went to OU, had some older guys there. And what really got me into fishing was just anybody that I fished has really been older than me.
Mm-hmm.
They're fishing college before, they're 2 or 3 years older than me. So that's kind of where I got my experience from, kind of how I got into it. And I had a bunch of buddies fishing at the Texas Tech team, really good program over there. And I kind of like learned from them. And so I wanted to fish here at OU. And I had no, I guess, real close friends on the OU team when I first joined. So I was just purely by myself. And the OU team, or I guess it's technically an OU club, but
you call it team.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Call it whatever.
It wasn't where it should be. I think it had a lot of potential. And there was no real organization to it. I do know the old president. He was great. He was a really good guy. He's a big hunter though. I have a lot of classes like
I think I met him. Did he was like working the gate at an OU game.
Really?
One time. And like I had my an OU bass fishing shirt on, and this dude was like, dude, what's that? And he's like, I'm the president of the team.
Yeah, it's very possible. He's a great guy.
Would have been last year.
Daniel Carter.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so he's a big hunter. He was great. He was also as well trying to get the team back on track and doing whatever he could. He's a great guy. I'll tell him about this whole podcast. I'm sure he watches.
I don't know if it was him or not.
But basically I became president as of January of 2024. I wasn't really elected. I kind of it was a volunteer role. Somebody had to take role.
Yeah.
And I took upon that.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah. He
this
runs,
dude.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I ran into him at an OU game last year because I was wearing an OU
Really?
fishing shirt, and he was like, "What the heck?" He's like, "I
No
was the
joke.
president of the team,"
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I added him, followed him on Instagram. Never anything ever happened.
Yeah, no, he just got married actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, really good guy. But I mean,
So anyway,
yeah, we're trying to get the team back on track right now. We're been trying to hit up a lot of alumni, a lot of old sponsors, trying to reconnect with them. And I mean, just our biggest issue right now is that we have zero funding coming in.
yeah.
We have these hats we're selling right now, but it's very minimal. I mean, and as best, fishing is expensive.
Yeah.
Especially traveling.
So when you came in, there was a team like, and I think this is interesting because this is what 98% of schools face. You see, the top end. You see the guys who are winning opens now, who are going to the Bassmaster Classic. You see the Bethels, and you see. Is Dallas Baptist still a juggernaut?
Yeah.
You see the Dallas Baptist.
DBU.
I remember when I used to do a website called the College Bass Zone, and we went and I filmed like a Cribs episode with them. They had like private ponds that only if you were on the bass. You probably know about this.
They're private, so they get a lot of funding,
and they get funding and stuff. But
But
98%, like when you go to these college tournaments, how many guys are rooming together, staying in their trucks, scraping to get by to represent their university, just to get on the water?
I mean, people are crowding in houses. They really are now. I mean, what kind of sucks about us is that, we're having to get our own hotels and stuff just because, we're not staying with our anglers that are on our team, We're all staying by ourselves, which I really don't like that at all. I'm trying to get us all together, bond, like get an Airbnb. But like you see teams out there that are getting Airbnbs. They're putting 10, 12 guys in a house.
Just so they can make it roll because they don't have the funding and they're doing it on their own.
A lot of people are sleeping in their trucks in hotel parking lots. You'll see that, or just at the boat ramp.
Really?
Yeah.
Still, even now,
a lot of those smaller schools that are still building up their programs. They don't have the funding yet.
What all have you competed in? I know that I would say there's three main collegiate series. There's Wade Middleton's, I think it's still the Boat US Collegiate Bass Fishing Series, and then there's the Bassmaster College Series presented by Bass Pro Shops, and then there's also the MLF College Series. So if you wanted to, could you fish infinite number of these things?
Yeah, to my knowledge, and basically I read all the rules just so I'm able to inform the team about everything, and you can fish them all. You really can. I don't think I've ever come across a problem where you can't fish anything. I fished a lot of the collegiate bass trail Texas tournaments.
Okay.
Now they actually just shut down, and now Texas Bass is now handling that trail.
Okay.
And that was one of the best trails I think you could ever go to because it was 100% payout. It was fantastic. You get 60 to 70 boats, which they would struggle with getting numbers sometimes, but I think that's kind of why they shut down a little bit. But they were great. And then I fished, Oklahoma bass a bit. We fished that trail. We were at Keystone actually a few weeks ago.
Okay.
That went all right. We had a rough day one, but day two we figured it out, but not enough to compete.
It's crazy. Those fish live shallow. They're 24/7. Like they are on the rocks. It does not matter whether the water temp is 40 or 100.
Yeah, we caught fish on 7 different baits that day. It was crazy. And then I fished Dardanelle last year at the AFCO Open up in Arkansas, and we 25th out of like 200.
Is Arkansas Tech still involved in that at all?
Yeah, they're I think they are actually.
Yeah. So back in the day, it was called the ATU Invitational, the Arkansas Tech
really?
Invitational, and Dardanelle was pumping out. It was like one of the only lakes in the area that was pumping out like mid 20s bags. So whenever we went there, it was always like a big deal. That was like one of the few opens that was kind of unrelated to anything else. They would use it as like a big fundraiser for their team.
No, yeah, Dardanelle was great. They actually just had Dardanelle on OU Texas weekend. That's why we couldn't go.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not skipping OU Texas weekend.
This would have been a good year to skip. It would have been
a good year. I mean, even my freshman year, we 49-0, but
yeah,
no, Dardanelle was a good time. We ended up placing like top 25 out of like 200 boats.
Mm-hmm. What are like the entry fees for these tournaments?
Free. AFCO is free.
Okay.
Is it?
I know they're big sponsor of the show.
Yeah, you don't win. I can't remember if you win cash prize or not. But you win prizes, and I mean they're really good prizes. But I mean, so CBTT, it was I think it's $175, or $150 including big bass, and then Oklahoma bass. Their fees are ranging between 100 and 150, including big bass. That's kind of what it is.
I got you.
But you also have to pay a membership fee though. At the same time, you got to buy your $25 annual membership fee through bass. You got to buy it through your Texas trails, and that's how you get your big pots.
It's just like any other regional, even though you're in college. I mean, you're $500-600 in.
Yeah, traveling gas. I mean,
$1,000 in by the time you travel and do that. How is it on school now? As far as like, are you able to get like letters to get off to go fishing? Or that was like big when I was in college, because I think the bass fishing team back then was originally like we qualified as like a club sport.
See, we don't right now.
So then we would do the letters and they'd get us off. But I guess they had like a meeting one time when they were like, dude, like we have this like fishing program and they're asking for like Thursdays and Fridays off like every single week so they could go practice. And they're like
Wednesday.
What the hell is going on here, right?
So we have a letter we fill out, or a form, and it's purely a travel form, so the school knows that we're just traveling. But you can't get excused. So I mean, the only way to get excused is you just going talking to your own professor and be like, hey, we got this deal. Can you?
And some are chill and some are like fishing.
Yeah. My freshman year professors are like, they don't care.
Yeah.
When your older professors that you get in your major, they really do care.
But I feel like you're kind of like entrepreneurship as a major.
Yeah.
Like I feel like those professors might
they're way more laid back.
Yeah, honestly. They would probably be like, okay, like this is cool. Like like if you're in the entrepreneurship, you kind of understand that maybe you think outside the box a little bit.
100%. But my core classes freshman year when I was trying to go fish, leave on a Thursday or Friday, like, yeah, sorry. I mean, you got to be here, or I'm, you're getting marked absent, missing assignments. I'm like, really, I try to tell them it's like a collegiate sport, and which I mean it is, it really is, but they didn't understand that.
Yeah, I mean I parlayed. They said that the Chip Porcher, who still works for Dynamic now, I don't get together enough with him, but I parlayed this into a career, like the fishing at OU, which led to the internship with the Bass Own and Mark Jeffries, which led, I was a communications major. So I was actually using my communications to I was writing articles full time after, to where I was freelancing for a bunch of companies in the industry, and then, traveling for lead series, and then transitioned to BTL. And here we are now, and who knows what the hell's going to happen in the next 5 to 20 years. But I mean, I plan on doing this. I mean, I'm to the point now where I'm pretty boxed in with the old skill set. So
locked in, ready to go. I mean, being in that industry that long, I gotta
kind of make it work. I don't think I could do an office at all. Are you doing any of the Bassmaster stuff? Like I know that they've just kind of revamped that with the Legends and the Lunkers Trail with the 3 tournaments to try to make the classic and all that.
I wish I could, but I mean, it's hard to do that stuff when you don't have funding coming in from the club, traveling, having to, do everything by yourself.
How do most of these other clubs who don't have school-backed support or 1 or 2 wealthy donors, how do they make it work? Or is it kind of a lot of just scraping by and fishing what you can when you can?
A little bit. I haven't talked to as many schools that are kind of in our situation, honestly. I've kind of talked to more schools that have figured it out, and I've gotten advice from them. But I think these smaller schools, or schools like us that are struggling, I mean, I think they're just trying to send guys to a bunch of local tournaments and just kind of make their way up there, get sponsors. I mean, a lot of these the Oklahoma Bass, they always usually have Oklahoma schools here. Everyone's saying their teams kind of but us, unfortunately. And that's what I'm really trying to get back up.
Do you guys still do the Battle of Oklahoma between like UCO, OU, Oklahoma State?
I mean, No, I don't think so. But I mean, all these schools fished Oklahoma bass,
Yeah.
but there's no dedicated tournament yet, I don't think.
Yeah, that might be a great option.
We had our club tournament at Texoma last year or last spring.
Yeah.
We did that. It was not a bad turnout for the first time. I think that's the first time we've ever done that. I helped put that on, and we had about 30 boats there.
Oh, nice.
It was a good turnout for
Yeah.
us. You know, we raised some money. People, I think, actually donated some extra money to that tournament as well.
You know, with as many, I mean, you got James Elam and Zach Burge over at OSU. You've got a number with as many teams that are in Oklahoma. I could see like a fundraising tournament for the
There's so much
organizations
potential.
between the Oklahoma schools
Mhm.
where each team raises money for their team and then you all go and compete for
Yeah.
we could have there used to be a trophy for that. Like it used to be like the Battle of Oklahoma, but
and
that
that
would
would
be
be
like
so
a
cool to
really
have.
cool
You just pass around the trophy.
yeah,
every
really
year.
cool fundraising event to get people behind to where, like, you know, we'd all give to the OU team. If you went to OSU and you wanted to, you could come out with a specific shirt for it.
Exactly. And I've actually never heard of that before. So that's something I definitely
Yeah.
will
I mean,
look
we
at.
had it was like a big trophy. And
Really?
it was like right after I think we did it the last year I was in it. So like 08 and then 9, 10, 11, it was actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah. I think after those early teen years, the club started dying off a bit. From what I have learned or heard.
It's really hard to keep it going because you have unless you have like a
cares a lot.
coach that's a tournament fisherman or that is affiliated with the university who understands how things are going and is actively making sure like you're relying on well, I mean, you're trying to figure out your life and get it started. And it's a passion, but you're relying on like a series of competent guys who have it together,
have
know how to fill out
every year.
paperwork, and then you're done and you have to have someone coming up. So it's amazing to see the teams that have kept it going, like the Bethels, but they also have people that don't change, even though the players change.
Yeah, which I mean, we have a lot of these schools have coaches but aren't employed by the university. But we have an advisor / coach, and he's employed by the university. He's supports me 100%, supports our team 100%, but he also has a real job he has to do with the university. I mean, he basically signs all the paperwork for the school, you know, doesn't ask any questions. He helps us out. He helps us get funding from school organizations like, you know, like our student government association or whenever they do those big fundraisers. He helps us get as much money as we possibly can. He's a big kayak guy. He fishes. He's from Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a big kayak. We give him, you know, we get on him about that a lot, but but it's
we got a lot of people who fish out of the kayak that listen. I have not yet experienced like a legit kayak bass fishing experience. No. I don't know. I'll keep an open mind on it.
Yeah, you get in a boat, you don't want to get in a kayak. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I would agree. How many are on the OU team now?
So this is how I built the program so far. Yeah. So we have a club, obviously, and then we have a team. So we probably have between 18 and 20 guys in the actual club. And I've got about 6 to 8 people that are on the team that actively want to go fish tournaments. Okay. And that's how I see it. That's how I'm building the program right now. And basically we divide that up by how many dues you pay. If you're on the team, you pay a little more. Yeah. Club, you're not paying as much, but you still get hats. You're still part of the program. You still know what's going on. You're going to our tournament or our club tournaments. And these club guys still, I'm trying to give them roles. Like our club guy, like, one of the club guys who doesn't fish all the tournaments, but he's our secretary. So he does the forms for our team guys. And then team guys, probably 6 to 8. A few of us go to tournaments. Actually, I think one of them was going to go to the Oklahoma Bass, but I didn't see them on. There's one going on at Fort Gibson. That just
it just was last week. Yeah.
Or it was the last week maybe. But we didn't send any guys, unfortunately. I couldn't go because my partner couldn't go. We're going to Team Killer here in December. But, yeah.
That'll be fun.
I never fished Team Killer, but he said that's the time to be there.
Dude.
That's what I've heard.
You don't have any off limits or anything, do you?
Within a certain time.
You're good now, though?
Yeah, we can fish. Yeah.
That time of year? Smallies on an A rig, on the shallow gravel, they will absolutely rip the rod out of your hand.
He couldn't stop talking about swim bait, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they will rip they will absolutely decimate a flash mob junior.
Yeah,
like on straight braid, just on the gravel flats and just dong.
Yeah, he said
if you hit it right,
it's only a 1-day tournament too, so that'll be interesting.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we might be going to Possum Kingdom here in November in Texas.
Okay,
that'll be interesting.
So if you were to identify, I mean, you've mentioned a couple of the good and bad things, like as a whole, then in collegiate fishing, for those of us that are kind of, like on the outside looking in, where
Yeah.
we only see the top 2% of the guys and the schools that have boats and the rat boats and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like if you could like wave a magic wand for the health of the field, because we're talking about this a lot in the opens too, right? In the invitationals, like the top is awesome, but in order to have like a healthy organization, you have to have that top 40-50%, those guys that are there, that are, it's economically feasible for them, they make it work, they bring it. Like, would you say as a whole, like, are there a lot of college programs that are struggling that we don't hear about? Is there way more money in it than we would think? Like, I mean, you talk to a lot of guys throughout the country, like where would you say the average college fishing program is?
So that's a really good question. And I think there are a lot of schools that we don't know about that aren't able to do everything. They don't have the resources, they don't have the funding, they don't have the structure for it. But I mean, you know this on the professional side as well. The industry is growing. I mean, it's changing every day. It's I like to say it's urbanizing at the same time. I mean, there's something always happening, and I think that's what's going on within the collegiate industry right now. These tournaments are producing more and more, boats, more tournaments. But what's struggling is these tournaments aren't providing big enough payouts for these anglers to travel for. If I'm coming from the south and I'm going up north, there better be a huge payout to where I'm going. And a lot of these organizations, a lot of these tournament organizations are not doing that.
So they're having like a high end first place, a lot of product for the rest of it,
which is great, right? But at the same time,
it's not like a open where if you're top 10, you're getting $8,000.
Yeah, somebody, we have gas to pay for, fuel. We've got, all these living expenses we got to pay for, food. And I mean, I understand like you got to kind of figure it out yourself, no doubt about that. But I would say, I mean, your biggest issue is just financials in the collegiate industry. But, all these other private programs, they got it all, which is amazing. Good for them. But not all of us have that.
So, I mean, what you're seeing is, and Frank just posted this. He said, Matt, go to a college event and see the 225 boats and trucks. Unfortunately, money helps. There are like a lot of these guys. Money helps. It's independent wealth. You're talking about, I mean, whether it's the kid who's been selling Nightcrawler since he was 12 to afford it. I honestly don't hold that against anybody, but there's a lot of the guys who are doing it. It's on their own dime.
It is. A lot of their parents are helping out with it, which, I mean, good for them. I mean, I wish I could, just go out to every tournament I possibly can. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it's a big learning experience. You're learning how to budget for a tournament. You really are. And, there's 5 tournaments on a series, usually 5 to 6 throughout the year. And you're like, all right, we at least have to fish 4. So which 4 are we going to go to that we think we can win and we can afford that can put us in the championship? That's what we had to think of at the beginning of the series.
Dude, I see some possibilities here.
There's so much potential.
So like when it comes to a tournament, so I'm like an OU grad, fish for OU. I know a bunch of guys who went to OU that are into fishing. So like I could see, and we'll just do this live. I'm spitballing here. I could see like a website where you could say, hey, here's the tournaments we want to fish. And you have like a fundraising deal where you try to get all this out. And I could like go in and donate for like, you have it all broken down. Like, here's the entry fee for this event. So I could like pay for your entry fee for that. And then my buddy Juice, who I fish with at OU, could pay for your gas to that. So then we have, instead of just giving you $150,
but they know exactly where
then
it's
we're
going
in there
towards.
and then boom, you've got that covered. You have it, you know where it's going from. And then you've got people that are interested, that are watching. Then you feel like you've got a little piece of skin in the game. You're sponsoring OU for that event. And then on top of it, you do the hats and stuff like that. Like that's how I could see. And you kind of base that fundraiser all around that Battle of Oklahoma tournament that you have, early in the year or something. So then you kind of have the funding. So you've got funding for a September tournament, for a June tournament, for an August tournament. Just spitballing stuff.
No, that's a really good idea. Actually, I never thought of it like that. I mean, what I've been doing is just either hats, or I've been reaching out to sponsors trying to get money from them, or honestly old alumni. But it's hard to get old alumni involved.
It is, and the sponsors are hard too because there are so many collegiate teams, and
OU has not made the name for itself that all these other like Auburn, A&M are making their names for right now. Texas Tech.
Well, the problem is it has to keep going. Like it's cycles.
Exactly. And that's the issue. Cycles. Like once I don't have a successor underneath me that can take over the program yet. There's nobody underneath me.
But that's kind of your job then. Like, how does recruiting play into that
Exactly.
too? Like, do you pay attention to what's going on in high school, or is it your job, or is that just for the schools that have the head coaches that are doing that? And then, like, are there head coaches that get paid in this, like that actually like make money at this?
I really don't. I don't know if it's a volunteer deal or if they're getting paid. That's a great question. I know Murray State has a coach. I know he's very involved with all these Oklahoma Bass Nation tournaments. I don't know if he's getting paid at all, but I'm going to Choctaw High School here in December to one of the high school bass meetings there. So that'll be really cool to hear from young anglers and kind of like how they see collegiate fishing.
Are there any like workshops? Do any of the organizations have a Zoom deal at the beginning of the year or anything that kind of sets you up that says, hey, here's the best way to raise money. Here's how to run your club, any of that?
So yes and no. I know a lot of these schools will go to high schools around them and they'll set up a booth or an expo. They'll go to some high school tournaments that they'll captain for.
Okay.
Or they'll go support them as much as they can. I think A&M went to, I think there's a Bass Nation high school event where all the college anglers go to and they represent their school and basically just tell them about their program, how it works. And I really wish we could have gone to it, but I think it was too far for us, or I couldn't go. But it's on my list next year to do. And that's something I'm definitely looking at, hopefully, to get a bunch of our guys there. And that's how we can really build our name.
I'm trying to look for a list here. There's got to be, it's not by like state. It's not by like state or anything like that. But I was trying to see how many teams in Oklahoma. Schools in Oklahoma actually have teams, because you see,
I think it's about 8.
Yeah, you'll see like junior colleges pop up.
Yeah, there's Murray State, OSU,
tech schools.
Yeah, I mean,
so what is Frank saying here? He said, Matt organizes one with these. One of these with 6 schools, include the top 2, and hear ideas from the well-run ones. Yeah, that's it is. So what's your goal on this? Like, do you want to be in the industry? Do you want to fish? Is this just something that's a passion that you know that you're going to fish the rest of your life? Are you trying to get into the industry? Are you trying to become a professional fisherman?
I don't think there's much professionalism in the future for me. I mean that I wish, right? But I don't think so, being honest. But I definitely will, I'll have a boat for the rest of my life. I'll keep fishing for the rest of my life. There's no doubt about that. But the goal before I leave OU is to establish a program that can run. I came in the program not being great, and that's my goal right now, is make sure this can run with somebody else taking over. That's what I'm trying to establish. Even if it's not great for me, at least I can be great for another cycle to come through, like you said. But like I said, after college, I'll hopefully have a job, and the plan for me competitively is I'll fish a lot of working mans, hopefully, like, Tuesday nighters, Thursday nighters. That's what I want to do. And then hopefully when I'm older, I can hop on the Texas Bass Trail.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good stuff
in
Texas between the Brandon Belt, there's Texas Team Trail,
Bass Champs,
all sorts.
Brandon
of
Belt,
stuff.
that's huge now.
Yeah, I had him on the show. That dude was super cool.
No, from what I've learned, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
and he's doing really good things. I know he has a big charity right now too that he supports. But yeah, that's I really want to get on a trail when I'm older. Just I think that'd be really cool to stay in the game a bit.
Yeah,
kind of like stay and fit. In the fishing industry.
Dude, the more I think about this, like you think of, I'm just thinking of the guys I graduated with. There's a bunch of petroleum engineering majors and stuff, and you combine OSU, OU, UCO. Would you say Rogers? Does Rogers State? Anyway, you get these together. There's no reason we couldn't do an Oklahoma college fishing fundraising weekend
would do it.
That would cover that. The OU would support the OU. The OSU alum would support the OSU.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no reason we couldn't get that covered. I mean, if you get 50 people, let's just say you get 50. Yeah, to donate $100, that's $5,000.
Exactly.
And then you have one guy with a business that matches whatever you have. There's $10,000, well. And now hey, this is what I'm fishing for the rest of the year, and then that's how I think you kind of get some stability with it.
And I that's something I really need to look at. That's a really good idea. And the thing is, everybody's wants to do it, but somebody's got to take a role.
Yeah.
And somebody's just got to execute that plan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what has been the issue, here at OU, and that's kind of what I've been taking on. So.
And it sounds like it's kind of a common issue. It's not a bad thing. It's just it's a it requires a lot
Yeah.
of blood, sweat, and tears. Like I said,
And
I'm sure it's just like any other athletic program where the guys at the top, you're like, dude, like those guys freaking, I mean, the majority of them though, it's a passion project.
no, it really is. And I mean, we're in a Oklahoma president's chat. So I mean, I've got every president's number and with every college here in Oklahoma. So it's definitely easy to communicate with. We just got to get everyone on board.
And I promise, like Elam and Burge would be all in on helping OSU.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Burge won a national championship there.
Really?
So, but you are selling the hat, so you're out of like one of them.
Yeah, so we're out of the tan rope ones right now. These are going like crazy. It was just hard to get these, so we're waiting on stock right now.
When did those be? So like,
I
dude,
think
so I'm the Richardson 112 guy. This isn't a Richardson.
I'm an R112 guy. 100%.
You're an R112,
yeah.
but dude, have you noticed this? Like,
it's crazy.
The change to like these kind of Polinick was on that train a little bit early with the like unstructured, and I was like, this guy kind of looks like a train conductor. But now that's what
everybody's wearing. They are pretty comfortable. I mean, but I like the R112s.
Do I get to keep this one?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Hell
Both
yeah.
those yours. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
I know. They're great.
Yeah, like I fish with Cranford, and he's big on like the rope hats, but he's an so he's a big OSU guy. So like they're like the guy that I've freaking fishing buddy. Like we've got a grudge match right there. Like I don't like when he wears the cowboy stuff in the boat. I feel like it's destined for second place. You know, I mean they're digging up 1948 championships and putting it on there.
I mean, I saw you pull out some of those old retro hats. I'm like, those are cool. You got the old jerseys on the wall.
I got all the old OU. I mean, I should do like a walk through the studio at some point.
I mean, I make all of our jerseys. I mean, they're so different than the ones I had in the past, which I mean, nothing wrong with that. It's just really cool to see how the times have changed.
Yep, it is. It's wild. We're going to go fishing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, hopefully they'll have this transformer box fixed. Like when I click on it, it says your connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, please plug it in router. I unplugged in the router, and last time it filled with water, and it took like 3 people and 10 calls to get it out. But I've been talking with Matt Steffen, who is he's a Starlink guy, and he has almost sold me on the Elon Musk Starlink.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's like the deal.
Just gonna switch over to that?
I think so. I don't know. I'm very resistant to change. As I get older, I find it very difficult to change on a whim.
Well, yeah, but before we I guess head off and hit the lake, just if anybody wants to support the OU bass team, my personal information is on the Instagram and Facebook.
What is the Instagram and Facebook?
I believe it's OU Fishing.
Okay.
It's just strictly OU Fishing, and my number and email are on those posts. So feel free to contact me directly, or you can just DM or PM our social medias, and I answer actively. I really do everything I can to answer. But if you hit me directly, I'll answer right away. I mean, we're looking for all those help, support, alumni support, sponsors, anything we can do to help get the club back on track and get our guys on the water.
I like it. Yeah, we got to work together on getting some stuff dialed in. Hold on. I had this link pulled up, and then I totally bailed on it. So let's see if I can get this.
That hat link?
Yeah. Here, I'll show it real quick. And there it is.
It's a good day to be outside today.
Yeah, no,
good day to be outside.
Picks up. So, like I said, the tan one is out right there, but that goes through like a third party.
Yeah,
deal,
it's the guy that I know that he made our hats for the past few years. And he set up a little link for us. I apologize to anyone if they ordered merch off the old website. We kind of didn't have access to that, and we had to like talk to the company to get that shut down because we didn't have any passwords for it. But we're gonna be building a new website here pretty soon. Yeah.
You got to deal with a lot, but I mean, dude, labor of love. It's awesome to see someone taking care of the program, and I use it as OU because it's where I graduated from. There's that's my Bass Life Member certificate, and then my University of Oklahoma degree right there. Awesome. So I'm very passionate about it, but I know just as equally, there's a lot of guys that are listening to this show that are just as passionate about that with the school that they support. Their alma mater. I think we're seeing that in the SEC. Like it's cool to see all these other schools like that you have rivalries with that you never got to play before. So like in the fishing world, like I mean, in South Carolina, Geddes Brandon, who does a lot, he's going to be on the show tomorrow on BTL and talk about what he's doing on the coast there and what that coast looks like post-storm. Very active in the Carolinas. But we did $100 charity bet on the South Carolina game, and I legit Venmoed him
That might
the
be.
$100 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And then he went ahead and matched that. So 200 went to the, I
Mhm.
think it was like Samaritan's Purse, the disaster relief fund
Oh,
over
it's
there.
awesome,
But I'm
yeah.
going to get him on BTL tomorrow. Hopefully Starlink will be fixed by
Yeah.
then, or not Starlink, the internet. And then on Wednesday, Matt Steffen in studio to talk about our Master Angler Challenge that we're going to do November 11th through the 16th with a bunch of live shows and
That's
stuff
awesome.
in
That's super
studio.
cool.
So
And just a little, speaking of the SEC, we're working on something right now. We might be having an SEC shoot off with all of the bass teams in the SEC.
that
So
would be
there's been
awesome.
talk going around for the past 6 months about it, but we're working on executing that here pretty soon.
Yeah, that would be freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, we're working on it. I've already made a shirt for it, and I'm talking to some of the old SEC presidents right now. And we're gonna
if you
make it
can
happen.
get that, and you have, I think you could definitely do enough to get your expenses covered for that. I know
Yeah.
an SEC bass fishing shirt.
We're
with the
talking to some
schools.
sponsors already that are actually involved in the MLF, so we're working on that right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fan. I know they just did like a rivalry shootout between Florida and one of the other schools.
Really? I
Yeah.
missed that. Okay.
It was cool. They're trying that stuff. So you ready to hit the lake?
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right. A little short show today. But I wanted to go live, and thanks for jumping on BTO.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's your
It's great.
over under? Like, I've kind of talked this up. Like, I'm saying, like, hey, dude, like 25 plus is pretty easy, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have no idea what we're doing here. It might be a little turnover period. We're kind of in that weird fall transition.
Yeah, but we walked outside 30 minutes ago. Like, it feels good.
It is nice.
I mean, some solid wind. I mean, the sun's out, it's clouds, but I mean, I think we could, I would say over under, if the line was 25.
That's a freaking strong line.
I mean, if you said 24 and a half, I'd take the over maybe.
But not the 25.
25, it's like, that's game day. Are we betting again on game day?
I don't know. I just know. So Cranford and we made a list, and we're like within 3 hours of the house, we picked. We could name 21 lakes that we thought we could do 25 on.
Really?
Yeah, not
mean,
like at will, but
wait,
the potential
And
exists.
what was that number?
It was 21 lakes.
Oh, 21.
Yeah, within 3 hours of Norman.
Really?
Yeah,
Can't name 15 lakes in Oklahoma right now.
we can't name 15 lakes.
I'm
yet.
from Texas, so like I can name.
Yeah,
lakes,
I'll show you a book. There's a Lakes of Oklahoma book out there. It's got.
I'm slowly learning the Oklahoma waters here.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go fishing, dude.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for
All right,
having me.
this has been another edition of BTL. Same place, same time tomorrow. We'll talk to everyone then. See ya.